Hello, and welcome to the Abundology podcast. My name is Renee Spears, and I'm an abundance and business mentor, and I help people have more money, love, time, and joy in their lives. I'm coming to you from downtown Portland, Oregon, and this is the weekly energy update for the week of June 7th, 2020. Every Sunday, I talk about how the energy is going to be for the week ahead, and I also infuse the show with some positive vibes, so you get a little positive energy boost just for listening. So let's start this week by taking a second to reflect. First, to reflect on all the change that we've experienced in the past 3 months from COVID. And then all of the change that has happened in the past 7 to 10 days with the Black Lives Matter protest. Just the transition from staying home and isolated to millions of people being out in the street within a couple of days is intense. This is an intense time that can feel like whiplash. And June is about major change coming into our lives. We're going to have the 2 eclipses, of course, with the 3rd being in July, and then we'll have 6 planets in retrograde by the end of the month, including Mercury. And the major changes that we're seeing out in the world are also happening inside of us. Big change is happening everywhere. And this weekend has been big with the full moon eclipse energy from Friday. It can feel like somebody turned up the intensity on everything. Eclipses can bring about like dizzying change, impacting everything in our personal lives, from our work and our relationships to our identity and our emotions. You might literally feel dizzy because there's so much change in the air. But the universe is on our side. We are rising into a new power. We are claiming our voice, and the universe is giving us the time and the slower pace to navigate through us. It's almost like it was divine timing. Like, you guys need to change. Let's just take a time out so you can think about your actions and change. So if we think about this, we've had the past couple of months to figure out how to stay home. Even if you have kids at home and you had to deal with the remote schooling part of it, that part is now over because we're into the summer. And we've had time to protest now because there's so many people that aren't working. So this Sagittarius lunar eclipse was a really potent one, and we'll be in the energy of it until the solar eclipse that happens on June 21st. And then remember that we also have the summer solstice is happening on June 20th. So we have a couple new big things happening in another week. But right now we're in the energy that helps us shed and remove the layers that have held us back and made us feel small. So this eclipse is about stepping into our power and removing the obstacles that we very often place in front of ourselves. We are far more powerful and knowing than we give ourselves credit for. And we are going to be reminded of this now. Mars is really active around this eclipse, which means our emotions will be really heated. There may be some unresolved anger floating to the surface, so just allow yourselves to feel it. And you might even notice that you're getting in like really stupid arguments with people. I got into an argument this morning with my son Tice about gold in Mexico. Of all the ridiculous things, we had to hang up because we were getting so angry about the history of gold in Mexico. It seems so stupid now that I'm talking about it. But you know, the anger is there. So allow yourself to feel it and let it out. So this lunar eclipse prompts us to tap into our inner hero, to like rise above problems with confidence and courage. And remember that eclipses are points of change. It can represent opportunities for growth, transformation, and rebirth. So this month we become aware of our personal path. It's like a light has been turned on and we finally get it. And we recognize a whole bunch of stuff about ourselves, about our society, and about our world. This is like rapid fire enlightenment. So I suggest you go all in. You might as well. We're here during this time. We have the time and space to examine ourselves and make these changes. So go all in. Allow this time to wake you up and change your life. And be present to what's happening. And we can all be really great at distraction. We may be keeping ourselves too busy with lots of activities around the house. We may be overindulging in drinking and drugging and eating too much. We may be watching too much TV. So take some time right now to think about how you may be keeping yourself from being present. Because step number 1 is to stay present right now. Don't right now step out of being present. We want to be all in for this major period of history, not only in our country, in our world, but also in ourselves. So step number 2 is allow. We want to allow ourselves to change. Allow ourselves to change beliefs, jobs, habits. We've outgrown who we once were. We've outgrown these beliefs. So we don't need to beat ourselves up because of how we believed or how we acted in the past. The past is over. It's done. Can't do anything about it right now except to change. Simply allow ourselves to be different now. Allow yourself to be the evolved version of yourself. I'm going to say that one more time. Allow yourself to be an evolved version of yourself. We have the opportunity for big, wonderful change right now. And all we need to do is get out of our own way and allow it. You could even set a couple simple intentions of like, I allow myself to stay present and evolve. Or I welcome change in my life right now. These would be easy things that you could say to help stay present throughout the day, present to the change that's happening. And we do this with the faith and the belief that the change is for the better. I kind of like to think of this time as like an episode of Queer Eye. Our thoughts about ourselves are changing. We're stepping into our power and we're becoming much better versions of ourselves. Everything in our life is getting upgraded right now. Like it's an episode of Queer Eye. How we look, how we dress, how our homes are, our businesses, our relationships, we're all being completely transformed. So remember to be present, even if it feels uncomfortable, and then to allow the changes to happen. As we know, those clients on Queer Eye they're all in and they embrace the changes, even if some of them are painful. But they end up transformed and happier at the end. So, as always, thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves. We are in the process of huge transformation. So make sure that you take care of yourself and get lots of sleep, eat right, exercise, that you have quiet time, all the self-care stuff that we know that we should do. So have a transformational week. Go all in. Go all in and change. Transform your life and evolve to the higher version of yourself. And I will talk to you next week.